I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Fran. Breaking news tonight on the Gulf Coast oil disaster. A new attempt to stop the leak is underway. It comes just hours after the Coast Guard gave BP the green light to first pump heavy mud into the well. Steve Daniels is in the Breaking News Center with new details. Steve. So Scott, right now at 5, a high school rape arrest. How a girl was attacked on campus. The suspect who faces charges. For the first time tonight, we are hearing what happened just moments after a state trooper collided with a car in Guilford County. The crash killed a grandmother and an 11-year-old girl. And today, as troopers continued their investigation, dispatch tapes were released. Tamara Gibbs joins us live from the scene at the intersection of Business 85 and River Road in Jamestown. Tamara. Thank you, Tamara. Some frightening moments in Durham this afternoon as a charter bus burst into flames. It happened on Roxborough Street, just under the I-85 overpass. Eyewitness News was there, you see, as flames shot out of the rear wheel well. Thick black smoke led police to shut down the road for about 15 minutes. The bus was badly damaged, but thankfully nobody was hurt. No word yet either on a cause. You said it, Chris. We are coming up on a Memorial Day weekend, and 2 of Wake County's most popular beaches are closed.
Beaches can be reopened. So the earliest that we can find out if that will happen by Memorial Day weekend will be this Friday. In Raleigh, John Camp, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, John. The Space Shuttle Atlantis returns home, but was it the final mission? The Space Shuttle Atlantis returned to Earth for the last time today, bringing to an end 25 years of service. Atlantis and its 6-man crew landed at Florida's Kennedy Space Center this morning. They delivered some much-needed supplies to the space station. Atlantis was built back in '84 and has carried 189 astronauts into space over the last 25 years. NASA is pushing for one more flight for Atlantis to return to the International Space Station next June, but for that to happen, it would require White House approval. Well, airline officials are trying to figure out how a lady sleeping on a plane was left on board that plane for several hours before she was discovered by a cleaning crew. The United Express flight from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia landed shortly after midnight, but it wasn't until 4 o'clock in the morning that a cleaning crew found her snoozing on the plane. Imagine you're living your life with a man, starting a family with him, and you don't know he's a convicted sex offender. Steve Daniels is here to show us how it happened.
Francis and Tisha, this is really bigger than one woman's story. We discovered that you could be living next door to a registered sex offender and not even know it. If you're like most parents, you check the North Carolina registry to see if there are sex offenders living near you or near your kid's school. But the I-Team has discovered sex offenders convicted of things like rape and sexually abusing children living here in the Triangle, and they do not appear on the North Carolina Sex Offender Registry.
I got up and I started yelling and just horrified and scared.
It was the surprise of a lifetime for Reem Baloch. The father of your child is a sex offender.
Right. I'm absolutely shocked.
And you had no idea?
No idea.
She says she met Rob Fish on the internet in September of 2001 when he moved to Raleigh. She was with him for 2 years and they have a son together. Then earlier this year, in the middle of a custody battle, she made this startling discovery.
I was on the internet one day and I had already checked the state registry multiple times for apex sex offenders. I have a feeling in my heart that something is not right about him. And so then one day I went to the National Registry, and that's when I discovered it.
She discovered Rob Fish is on the National Sex Offender Registry with an address on Sunshine Crest Court in Apex, but he does not appear on the North Carolina Sex Offender Registry. No one knows he's here.
No one knows. No one has any idea that he's a level 3 registered sex offender.
Living in Wake County.
Right. I mean, I feel like if you aren't living in the state that you are registered in, you should have to register in the state that you're currently living in.
Rob Fish is not alone. The I-Team discovered these convicted sex offenders have also hit the jackpot because they've found a legal loophole. In Wake County, 26 sex offenders appear on the National Registry but are not required to register in North Carolina. These people are convicted of rape, sexually abusing children, and other sex crimes. They're living among us, and you probably have no idea because they are not on the North Carolina Sex Offender Registry. In Durham County, there's 1 sex offender, and in Cumberland County, there are 5 slipping through this legal loophole. Here's why it's happening. Under state law, sex offenders who were convicted or released from prison before 1996 and moved to North Carolina before December of 2006 do not need to register in North Carolina. That means for many years, sex offenders who committed their crime in another state and then moved here could keep their sex crime a secret.
First of all, thank you for doing this story because it's bringing to the attention of legislators an issue that we need to look at.
We took the findings of our investigation to state legislator Tim Moore, who's co-sponsored previous sex offender laws.
If a person is required to register in the state where they were convicted, shouldn't they be required to register here in North Carolina too?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you anymore. It's my intent to come back and file a bill to fix this loophole that we have.
We created this map of the 3 largest counties in the viewing area, Wake, Durham, and Cumberland, showing you the zip codes where these 32 sex offenders are living according to the National Registry. In the process, we also discovered the majority of sex offenders do not list an address on the National Registry, only a city, so we have no idea exactly where they're living.
Do you ever ask yourself, how did I get involved with a sex offender? The father of my child is a registered sex offender.
Oh yes, every day. 5 times every day. How did this ever happen to me?
Reen Beloach can't believe legislators were completely unaware sex offenders are slipping through this legal loophole until our I-Team investigation.
It's ridiculous. It should not happen. And that's why there is future victims out there, because people can't keep their children safe because they have no way of knowing.
The I-Team contacted Rob Fish. We offered him a chance to go on the record about his sex crime conviction, but he declined. If you want to take a closer look at the sex offenders we found slipping through this legal loophole, you can go to our website, abc11.com. And we'll keep track of Tim Moore's effort in the legislature to close this legal loophole we discovered during our investigation.
It's shocking.